Hi everyone, I'm Clem and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Dark Academia book tag that was created by Caroline and Emmy. I'm going to link their channel down below. They're amazing, so if you don't know them, go check their channel, clicking the link in the description box. And before starting, I also would like to thank Mary over Amongst Story. Thank you for letting me know what was really Dark Academia, because when I first saw the tag, it was a bit blurry. Like, the question was speaking to my soul because it's about art and literature, but I wasn't familiar with the term Dark Academia. So thank you, Mary, for explaining it to me. Now I fully understand what it is. First question is, what is your favorite dark or academia book and movie? So my favorite dark academia book might be anything by Edgar Allan Poe. So if you've seen my big book collection lately, you know that I have a beautiful edition of short stories by Allan Poe and I love it. It's really spooky and dark and it's about murder, and I've been reading Edgar Allan Poe for a long time. Like, I've read several stories in school and I fell in love with it. So I really love Edgar Allan Poe, and I don't know, I like scare myself sometimes, even though it's not that scary, but I don't know, it's a bit spooky. Concerning my favorite dark or academia movie, I'm not going to pick a movie, but I'm going to pick a TV series, and it's Penny Dreadful. Penny Dreadful is one of my favorite series of all time. What it ended after 3 seasons, I cried because I wanted more. So basically, Penny Dreadful, you're following Eva Green. She's the main character, and she's playing the role of a young woman in the 80s, 90s, I forgot. And she's possessed by a demon, but so it's really dark, and you have several characters from literature that are in the series. For instance, you have Dracula at a certain point, you have Frankenstein, his creature, Dorian Gray, and it's just amazing. The mood of the series is just really great. Sometimes certain episodes really scared me, but I loved it. It was so strange and so unique. Like, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's on Netflix and it's amazing. Second question is, what dead poet would you like to have a drink with? So, I don't read that much poetry, but I feel like if I had to choose one, I would choose Emily Dickinson. I'm not very familiar with her work, but I studied her during my first year at university, and I fell in love with what I've read, but I've never went further. Maybe I should, because I'd really like what I'd read. So maybe I'm going to try and read it with her. But I liked her style and the theme she was talking about, and I don't know, some of her poems just spoke to my soul and I fell in love with it. So I would love to drink with Emily Dickinson and to learn more about her. But if Emily Dickinson wasn't available, I definitely would talk with Shakespeare, because Shakespeare's been my obsession since I'm like 10. When I first read Romeo and Juliet, I'm not very keen on his poem, but I don't know, like, I would love to have a tea with or beer with Shakespeare. It would be so much fun. Question 3, what is your favorite painting or sculpture? My favorite painting is The Starry Night by Van Gogh. I feel like this might be a very basic answer, but really this painting speaks to my soul. I'm in love with Van Gogh since I'm like 6 or 7, since the first time I saw one of his paintings at the Louvre or at Orsay. I can't really remember. And when I knew that The Starry Night existed, I fell in love with it. And I was lucky enough to went to the MoMA, I think it's in the MoMA or the Met. Anyway, in New York to see it, and I'm not joking, I cried when I saw it. I was in front of it with so many tourists surrounding me, and I just cried because it was just so beautiful, and I was just so happy to see it. So you see, I really love The Starry Night. And sculpture, I really like sculptures. Like, there's an amazing museum of Rodin in Paris and I love it. But one of my favorite sculpture might be the one we saw in Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 adaptation. It's a sculpture of a woman like in marble, but she has a veil and the veil is in marble, and it's just stunning, and the artwork is just beautiful. I don't know how the sculpture did it to, like, it just looked like he put a marble veil on it and it just looked amazing. I'm in love with it. I also had the chance to sew it because I went to visit the location of Pride and Prejudice, and it was in the castle, like in the house, and it was beautiful. So, so beautiful. 4. What is your favorite architectural marvel? My favorite architectural marvel. So I'm French, I live near Paris, and Paris is beautiful in terms of architecture. We have an Eiffel Tower, we have the Arc of Triumph, beautiful. We have the Louvre, we have Orsay, and I'm in love with Orsay. I could just go to the Museum of Orsay just to be in it. I'm going to be a bit original, and I'm not going to choose a Parisian or French building because I'm going to pick the Sistine Chapel in Rome. So this is in the Vatican, and this is one of the most beautiful buildings I saw in my life. I went to see it when I was 14 in a school trip. I fell in love with it. It's just stunning, so beautiful. Like, the building in itself is beautiful, but when you're under the Sistine Chapel and you see the painting of the man and God who was almost touching fingers, it's stunning, really, really stunning. Okay, you're surrounded by thousands of people, not thousands, but like hundreds of people, all looking at the same thing, but it's just so amazing, it's so beautiful. If one day you have a chance to go to Rome, go see the Sistine Chapel. It's a marvel. What Shakespeare play would you like to be the lead in? It's one of my dreams to play Titania in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Okay, so maybe for some of you, Titania is not the lead character in A Midsummer Night's Dream, like it could be Hermia, or I always forgot the name, but the other girl lost in the woods. But Titania, the Queen of Fairies, would love to play this part. I've been doing theatre for more than 10 years now, and I love theatre, and I don't know, I see myself playing Titania, like coming down from the ceiling with all my fairies, like Metaseed and Spiderweb and everything, and just be here like chilling. Okay, so I have to make out with a no, how do you say this, with like a horse, but it's not a horse. I forgot the name in English of this animal, but like a horse. I'm so dumb, but still, I don't know. I love Titania. It's one of my favorite characters from Shakespeare. I love it so much. And also, since I've been obsessed with Romeo and Juliet since I'm 10, I would love to play Juliet, but I would rather play Titania than Juliet. Question 6. How many languages do you speak, and which one would you like to learn? So I speak 2 languages. I speak English because I speak to you in English now, and I'm an English teacher, so I feel like I'm pretty fluent in English, even though sometimes I can't talk. And I also speak French since it's my birth tongue. I'm French, and I can speak a bit of Spanish, but it's not really that. Like, I can't go in Spain and just talk with everyone, but I'm trying to. And after the languages I would like to learn, I would love to learn Norwegian or Swedish, because I don't know, I'm in love with this language. I used to watch Skam, the TV series, and I loved hearing them speak. So I really want to know how to speak Norwegian or Swedish. And also I would love to learn to speak proper Italian, because Italian is just so beautiful to hear, and I don't know, I think it's funny to speak Italian, so I would love to learn Italian, and maybe Russian, because my mom, when she was younger, learned Russian at school, and sometimes she says sentences she remember in Russian, and I feel like it's so cool. So I would love to know how to speak Russian. 7. What is your favorite quote? And without surprises, my favorite quote is from Pride and Prejudice, my favorite book of all time. And the quote is between Darcy and Lizzie, and more specifically, it's Lizzie who says it. And she says, "I could easily forgive his pride if he had not mortified mine." And I love this quote because with this quote, you see the relationship between Darcy and Lizzie, and you think, how could they possibly be in love? And you're like, you can see it right there, that they love each other because they're so similar. that they have to be together, they're meant to be. And I don't know, I love Pride and Prejudice, and I could pick thousands of quotes from Pride and Prejudice, but this one I really like it because you really see the characters, like the behaviors of Darcy and Lizzie. 8. Which fictional character's death is your ideal way to go? I don't read that much book where character dies. Like, oh, let me think. I know. I'm going to pick the way Gatsby died in The Great Gatsby by Fitzgerald because he's shot, and I feel like being shot must be a quick death, and I feel like he's shot like in the heart or close to it in his lungs, so I feel like it's a very quick death, and it was by surprise, so he wasn't really expecting it, so maybe he didn't see himself die, so I feel like that might be my ideal way to go. I don't know, it's not something I think about, so let's say this death. 9. What university or college would you most like to attend? So thankfully at the end of the year I'll be done with uni and I can't wait for it, so I'm not going to go to college anymore and I can't wait. But since I'm a kid, I used to watch Gilmore Girls, and when I was 10, 11, it was my dream to go to Yale. I even talked about it with my teacher when I was in middle school, telling them that I wanted to go to Yale, and one of my teacher, my English teacher, told me that I could if I continue working as I was working, and anything was possible. But then I went online and I saw the price for a year and I said, okay, I'm never going to go to Yale and I don't want to go to the United States, so Yale was over for me, like my dream of Yale was over for me. But I was lucky enough to go to the United States and to go visit the Yale campus, and it's beautiful, and I thought, okay, I should have worked and go there, even though it would have never happened because like too expensive and I would never go to the United States to do my studies, but still it was beautiful. But lately, like, my best friend is studying in Oxford and it's pretty nice. I have to say that studying in Oxford or Cambridge would be amazing. It's so beautiful. And even if my best friend is not like in the real Oxford University, she's at Brookes, but even Brookes University in Oxford is pretty cool. And I mean, like, yeah, Oxford or Cambridge could be nice too. 10. What is your murder weapon or murder method of choice? I have to say poison. I might sound scary while saying that, but poison, I feel like it's very fancy, and when there is poison in a story, it's always like evil ladies, and I don't know, like, poison is really cool and class for me. Like, you're just here and boom, poison in your drinks and you're dead and you'll never know it was me, a bit like in Game of Thrones, and I love it. So yeah, poison. But if I had to pick a weapon, I would say a knife, because stabbing, I don't know, like, I've been reading the Murder of the Orient Express for my students, and the stab scene as something not fancy, but the fact that he was stabbed 15 times, I don't know, stab is like a good stab and boom, you're dead. Question 11. What mythology would you most like to be a part of? Without hesitation, I have to pick the Greek mythology, because since I'm a kid, again, I've been obsessed with Greek mythology. To let you know, I used to borrow from my library audiobooks about the myth of the Greek mythology, and I was the only one borrowing it at my library, but I borrowed them every month and I listened to them every month in a row, always the same thing, always and always and always. So I've been obsessed with it. Then I discovered Percy Jackson and it was about Greek mythology, so once again I was into it. And I don't know, my parents always talked to me about Greek mythology and I loved it. And once again, when I was a kid, a bit older, I used to say to my friend that I'd become polytheist, and I used to light candles on my window every night, and I would say prayers to Aphrodite or like Athena or stuff like that. I went mad with Greek mythology, so you see, I have to be part of Greek mythology. But also, I would love to be part of the Viking mythology and the Northern myth, because I've been discovering Northern mythology through Magnus Chase, but also I've been watching Vikings lately, and I feel like I love Northern gods like Loki, Odin, Thor, Frey, Freya. It sounds really amazing, and I love the fact that it's all linked to nature and the spirits and your soul. I don't know, it's really mystical and I love it. Like, it sounds really peaceful. I don't know, I like Greek Northern mythology, so why not? 12. If you had to do a PhD, what would you choose to do it in? So I almost did a PhD, and it was supposed to be on the link between the movies we're watching today, like the teen movies we're watching today, and how they are inspired by canon from the English literature. Like, for instance, if you pick Clueless, it's about, I forgot, Much Ado About Nothing. Like, you also have Easy A, it's about the Scarlet Letter, and all the stuff. And I was supposed to work on the link and how British books from the canon still inspire us today, even though it's old and not, like, a bit outdated when you see what's happening now and the society today, but how they still inspire us. So I would love to have done it, but I did something else and I became a teacher, so I couldn't do it. Or I would love to do a PhD in like Greek mythology or any mythology, or archaeology, because I wanted to become an archaeologist when I was younger. And I don't know, it's fancy to say, hi, I'm an archaeologist, I just found this, and it's from like 200 years, 2000 years, and like, I don't know, I feel like archaeologists have an amazing job, but yeah, I couldn't study for it, I was too lazy. 13. Which fictional character would you die for? I would die for Darcy. No surprise here, but I really would die for him. I don't know, even though he's a pain in the ass, he's so precious and so kind. You just have to know him and to have him to trust you, for him to really reveal himself. So I would die for Darcy. Okay, so these are all the questions from the tag, but there's also a rapid fire book tag about the Dark Academia theme. So I'm going to do it now. First question, leather-bound or cloth-bound books? Leather-bound. I don't know, it's so fancy, so cool to have a leather-bound books. Dog earring pages or highlighting pages? Dog earring should be a crime, so I'm going to say highlighting pages. Sculpture or paintings? Paintings, obviously. Piano or violin? Piano? I love both, it's really hard. Films or theatre? I'm doing theatre, but I'd rather watch a movie because, yes, films. Poetry or prose? Prose. I had a hard time with poetry in high school. Museums or bookshops? Bookshops. I love museum, but bookshops makes me really happy. Smell of books or smell of tea or coffee? Smell of books, come on. Fountain pen or typewriter? I would love to have a typewriter, but I'm more a fountain pen type of person. New or used book? New books. Always new books. I have used books, but new books, it's just amazing to have a new book. Okay guys, that's it. That was all the questions for the Dark Academia book tag. Don't forget to go check the original videos in the description box. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to like this video if you did. And I will see you next time. Bye guys!